The information that we're going to talk about today is highly classified. And I'm hoping, my intention is for you to take what you can use and apply it to your own practices or your own research in the fight against autism. So we're talking about quantum access technology. If you're not familiar with what quantum access technology is, I'm going to explain it to you. But first I want to just put up a disclaimer. This has been 18 years of research and due diligence on my part. So 18 years ago, I had a near-death experience. I had a massive coronary heart attack, and I was not breathing for 3.5 minutes. And in that space, and in that experience, I was able to actually experience who we really are, and that is beings of energy. But not just any energy, because everyone can say, oh yes, we are energy beings, but we're primarily energy and information, okay? So, quantum access technologies, they are having to do with the multidimensional physics of the human being. It offers many unique technologies, information, perspectives on how the human being actually comes to a state of harmony with the body, mind, and spirit. And these technologies are used currently for brain harmonization in the military-industrial complex and in the private sector. And why am I talking about the military? It's because what I've essentially have done is I've taken military technology and I've used it for healing. Quantum access technologies are Tesla-based, and many of you know who Nikola Tesla is, yes? Okay. So Tesla was behind the originator of quantum access technologies, specifically utilized in a top-secret quantum teleportation program in the 1960s called Project Pegasus. So if you don't know what the military-industrial complex is, you can see it's made up of interesting companies and intelligence communities and banks all around the world. And their whole interest is to influence public policy without any reins, without any rules. So let's get down to some rules right now. I'm going to share 3 rules of existence that is applied to, let's say, the private sector. Okay? 1, everything in the cosmos is consciousness or energy. 2, consciousness or energy is the foundation of existence. And 3, if you want to attempt to heal the body, wouldn't it be prudent if you address the energy or the consciousness of that patient or that being first and use an integrative approach? So these are very important because let's address the elephant in the room, okay? And that is current public medical science. And we're all here. I've been coming to Autism One since 2014. And I've seen great therapies here every year, but we know that there is a limitation on present ASD treatment in the public medical sector. Do we agree on that? Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So, having said that, why is the current treatment for ASD not working? Well, it's because public medical science is not consciousness-based. It's not based on energy, right? So it's based on big pharma. It's based on drugs and vaccines. It's based on toxins like glyphosate, which they have been putting in female tampons since 2015. So Don't think that you're free from glyphosate just because you're not using Roundup. It is now in tampons. So, and GMO foods, of course, right? That is what public medical science is based on. So, if any medical or holistic treatment or whatever it is solely based on chemicals or pharmaceuticals and ignores energy or consciousness, it is a dangerous deception. Okay? Now, I'm going to introduce you to DARPA. If you don't know what DARPA is, it's the government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It is the military technology agency that created the Star Wars protection program and the internet. Did you know that? Okay? DARPA's whole take on disease and aging comes down to the cell. Disease and health issues in humans, animals, plants are caused by the electromagnetic distortions in the DNA. DARPA knows this, the private sector knows this, and the industrial military complex knows this. So, I'm going to introduce you to the cellular regenerative system, which is the actual healing system of the body. And it was studied extensively in the late 70s by the late Dr. Robert Becker. He was a 2-time Nobel Prize nominee, never won the Nobel Prize, but he understood that there was an electromagnetic system to the body that actually heals the body, and that is the cellular regenerative system. It is not the immune system. Okay? And he wrote books, The Body Electric Cross Currents, if you were interested in doing more research on him. So, and he wrote a paper in 1967 that proves this fact, that the body can heal through electrical and magnetic currents. So this is not something that was just made up now. So many people ask, because our technology deals with scalar energy, what is scalar? And unfortunately, most of the scientists and the physicists out there, they're only describing a small after effect. They don't really understand scalar. So I'm going to break it down to you very simply. You have electromagnetic energy, electricity and magnetism. What is that? It's simply energy. Scalar is energy plus information. Okay? So that's about as simplified as I can make this for you without giving you a dissertation on scalar energy, which no one wants to hear. The government knows that our body has scalar fields or scalar spheres around it, 5 in particular. Okay? And this is how the government, DARPA, or whoever else, when they want to use mind control, they use scalar energy or scalar weaponry to target these areas in the body. Okay. Why am I bringing up Project Pegasus? Because Project Pegasus dealt with quantum access technologies, the technologies that I'm introducing you to today. Back in the 1960s, from 1962 to 72, the US government ran a project called Project Pegasus that was carried out under the aegis of DARPA. So DARPA actually ran this project. It had to do with teleportation technologies. Tesla, when he died in 1946, the Russians, Germans, and the US government took his secret papers, and guess what was the number one patent that they actually were concerned with? It was Tesla's teleportation technologies. Okay? And it was actually run by the CIA as an intelligence program. Okay? And by the 1970s, there were 8 major teleportation technologies that had been developed. Now, why is this important? Well, we actually happen to use Tesla's technology in our Rasha technology, okay? And he was the main person that Project Pegasus owes its gratitude to, because they were actually able to prove that his teleportation technologies existed. And even back in 1899 in Colorado Springs, Tesla was actually doing these technologies. And his experiments were repeated by Raymond F. Basiago at the Thomas A. Edison Research Labs in West Orange, New Jersey, during 1956 to 64 time frame. This is Dr. Sterling Colgate. He was one of the chief project scientists on Project Pegasus, and he was the man that developed the plasma confinement chamber for quantum teleportation purposes. In our Rasha Technologies, we use Tesla technology, and guess what else we use? Plasma gases in a confined vacuum chamber. But we're not using it to try to teleport people. We're actually using it to actually do what's called phase conjugation, or time reversing a diseased cell. Now, in the military, disease is nothing more than vibrational dissonance. Okay? So, disease is caused by electromagnetic disturbances in the DNA. And they knew this. And guess what? The Russians, the Kaznacheyev experiments, which I'll show to you in a moment, were able to prove that. They were able to cause disease by electromagnetic disturbances in the DNA, and they were able to reverse it. So it's very important to understand that if you deal with disease, if you want to address a disease or an unhealthy state, in conjunction with nutraceuticals, in conjunction with detoxing, in conjunction with all these other therapies, you must address the energy component. Does that make sense? Okay. And there are published papers out there that have to deal with miasms, which we call these disease states. Okay. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that ASD is a scalar wave distortion. Okay? And my question was, is it possible to prevent ASD as well as reverse it utilizing integrative quantum access technologies? So, if all disease is a scalar wave distortion caused by epigenetic factors within the templates of the DNA strand, which obviously physically manifest as genetic distortions, the question is, can this condition or can these conditions be systematically realigned using these technologies that we call quantum access technologies? That was my whole purpose. Could I take military technology that was used for weaponization and mind control and manipulation and actually use it for healing? And the answer is yes. We were able to at least get some promising results. Okay? But I'm not asking you to take my word for it. The experiments were done way before what we did. Okay? For example, a Russian scientist by the name of Dr. Kaznacheyev and his group already proved that DNA could be altered using electromagnetic frequency. And if you don't believe me, this was his experiment. Okay? Up there. And if any of you would like a copy of this PDF, just email me at the end and I'll send this to you. And again, my hopes is that you practitioners, researchers out there will take this information that I have brought to light and you use it in your own practice and in your own research. So, in his research, Kaznacheyev's research group, he was able to repair DNA, damaged DNA, okay? So, and I talked about the role of phase conjugation. Remember, we started out by talking about teleportation technologies with DARPA and Tesla. Phase conjugation was proved by a Russian scientist, doctor by the name of Kaznacheyev, And what his experiments did was he caused disease using electromagnetic frequency, but guess what wasn't published? He was able to actually reverse those disease cells. Okay? And this was his experiment. Now, am I saying that we're able to time reverse a very simple process, you know? So if you could take an action and forward time and induce, say, a disease, if you time reverse that action, will it reverse the condition? It's a fairly simple, if you really think about it. But why hasn't it been taught? Why hasn't this been brought to light? Was my question. And yes, it's, you know, his whole Kaznacheyev experiments proved that we're able to reverse disease using electromagnetic frequencies. The opposite of what caused the disease. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. Did I lose anyone yet? Okay. Now, I have this up here because there are two patents out there that DARPA and In-Q-Tel have, which are methods and devices to produce a desired brain state and then pulsation manipulation of the nervous system. So our technology actually harmonizes the autonomic nervous system. We've actually been able to take scalar wave or scalar energy and actually help the nervous system. So, and the military understands the brain more so than anyone out there, any doctor, any scientist out there. Why do they understand the brain? Because they've actually done their research onto what the actual brain is. And the brain is nothing more than a scalar wave generator. You have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain, yeah? When we create a thought, what do you think that thought is? That thought is a manifestation of scalar energy. Okay? And this is all proved by Nikola Tesla. So I'm very grateful for him and his work. So if thoughts are scalar energy and the brain is a powerful scalar wave energy or generator, you know, what would happen, let's just take an autistic child, right? And their brain state, right? Would you say that it is different than an average human being? Yes? And the key here is neuroplasticity and ASD. Why is that? We all know that the autistic brain is wired differently. We all know certain studies that have recently came out find evidence that these patients have too many synapses firing, yeah? And in this paper here, it looks at the autistic brain and how it is over a lifespan and what happens to the brain. It's an interesting paper that I put up here that I invite you to take a look at. Obviously, here's a simple slide on, you know, a difference between a healthy person and a person with ASD. Here, same thing with the temporal pole. And Bradley University is now introducing neurocounseling or neurofeedback in their research with the autistic brain and behavior, okay? So, isn't it interesting that DARPA, in the past 5 years, have now decided to treat bodies, the diseased bodies, with light, electricity, sound, and magnets. And in 2015, they started what's called the Brain Initiative, which is actually working with PTSD, ADHD, their soldiers that are suffering from this. And they knew that they caused a lot of harm with their technology. Now they're realizing that they can heal their soldiers with their same technology, okay? So it's very, very important to realize that while, yes, the military has done some insidious things, what I simply did was take their technology and let's see what it would do on an autistic child. And in about 5 minutes, I will bring up a dear friends of mine that will show our case studies, okay? So, rewiring the brain is where we're at, but using scalar plasma energy, okay? And it's interesting, many of you may or may not know this. One of the good things that Trump did was that as soon as he was elected and inaugurated, he released 5,700 classified patents that have to do with health, anti-aging, and free energy. And if you take a look here, where I have that red mark right here, NASA and DARPA have 12 of those secret patents, okay? And those secret patents happen to deal with our technology, which has Tesla, Antoine Priori's work with plasma gas and reversing cancer, and good old Dr. Royal Rife and resonant frequencies, okay? So Tesla was known for his flat coil that creates scalar energy. Antoine Priori was the plasma gas master. So isn't it interesting that Project Pegasus, which I talked about earlier, dealt with Tesla-based quantum access technologies, and David Sterling Colgate with the plasma gas confinement chamber. Why? Because they were able to do some amazing things, time-reversing cells, okay? For many of you that don't know who Royal Rife is, he was the man known as the guy who cured cancer using resonant frequencies, okay? So I'm going to bring up Ray Karankong, who is one of my partners, but also father of an autistic child. And he's going to go over the case studies, okay? And this is our technology here. You're welcome to come to the booth. Yep. So.
You gonna click for us?
Yep, right here.
Great, great. Hi, everybody. Well, when Dr. Jerry first came to me, we were always working with sound and healing and raising the frequency of vibrations and so forth for many years. And then when my son actually, when he was born and we found out that he did have autism, we were devastated as parents, my wife and I. And when he told me he had certain technologies that he was working on as an experiment to help with the brain and to help the gut and everything, I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. I knew the best therapists that, and a whole team of therapists from OT to PT, speech, language, ABA, and I put together my own private team to work specifically with my son, and we were only able to get so far with what we had access to until we met with Dr. Jerry, and he actually asked me if I wanted to utilize some of his experiments at the time. So here what we have is, everyone familiar with the ATEC? So, okay, good. Awesome. As you parents and practitioners know, that it just measures, if it's really, really high on the scale, then it just measures the severity of autism and functioning level. With our child, let's see here, immune system, GCMAF. With our child here, we used the ATEC to do a pre and a post for what we did with him. We also used GCMAF, Forte, sub-Q injections, and the CNS, intramuscular injections for 10 weeks using Quicksilver liposomal products. And also the cellular regenerative system using the Rasha morphogenetic harmonizer system and King Tom marine plasma water. So our first case study was a boy with autism, utilized ABA, speech, OT, PT. He was 4 years old at the time, used a standard biomedical approach with very little progress. He did not attend school, and he had major challenges just being around other children, not verbal at all, compromised immune system. He was sick all the time and was in the hospital all the time. I remember the family came to me and he says, they were saying, you know what, the doctor just said, just go home and just love your child. That's all you can do at this point. And the family was just devastated. So what happens is the child also had a lot of aggressive behaviors, couldn't be around other children, hurting himself, self-injurious behaviors, and constant tantrums. So here's our baseline here. This child started off at a 153 on his ATEC at 4 years, 11 months, and we were able to bring him down to a 126. And this is what he looked like when he first started.
Hello, bud. Mateo. 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 No, nothing?
As you can see, the parent
Too
is trying to
distracted.
engage, but there's no
That's
eye
a
contact,
watermelon,
no connection.
Mateo. Watermelon.
Constantly seeking sensory input, auditory input.
Guess that's the new watermelon game, huh?
The classic iPad. Lots of stimming behaviors and vocalizations. And this is their life every day. iPad.
Mateo.
Lack of connection.
Go back. Mateo. Chicks.
Here's 6 weeks utilizing scalar plasma technologies and Quinton.
Ready? Set? Go! I want to play. Okay, we can play with it. I like it. I like it.
Elevated speech and eye contact are improving.
Oh, stop!
There's a connection now.
Okay. I want to play. I know. It's so much fun. I like it.
He's actually demanding for things that he wants now, as opposed to just nothing.
Ah, it stopped.
Repeating
Oh.
words.
I want to play. Oh my
He's
goodness.
very excited.
I like
Clap. Fantastic.
This is in his ABA
Sit
session.
down. Good listening. Put in.
He's repeating
Good
words now,
job. Shake.
comprehension, and his awareness has grown.
Awesome. Knock. Whoa! Fantastic, Mateo. High fives. Yeah.
Here's week 5. This is in our office.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Now we're repeating after him because he's leading the conversation and initiating.
10.
Yeah, Mateo's world has completely changed. The family's lives have completely changed because now they have a connection with their child now. I remember they send us photos of their child going to the bathroom for the first time. Like in the middle of the night, we get this picture of his son sitting on the toilet. It's like 2 a.m, and he's like, "Thank you so much." He went to the toilet and he didn't have to use his diaper. And his first words, he said like, "I love you" to his parents. And that, as a parent, that means so much when your child actually says that to you. And so it meant so much to them. Their quality of life as a family has completely improved. So that was one of the case studies. Here's another child. Oh, okay. Well, it's the same child. So his ATEC score dropped 54 ATEC points since the beginning of this protocol. Increased level of awareness, potty trained, level of aggression has decreased, and his tantrum behaviors decreased. He's actually emerged into much more social with parents as well as other children, maintains better eye contact and interaction with people. Obviously, you can see that his speech and language has improved, right? Much more clearly, and now he has language. Much better facial expressions as well and intonation while he's speaking. And his immune system is actually better. He wasn't in the hospital half as much as he was before. He was in there all the time, and now he hardly ever has to go to the hospital. He's also gained weight and tried different foods. And yeah, he's doing great. Here he is. From a 153 to a 126, down to a 72 in such a short amount of time. I mean, have you guys seen progress with other children in that short of a time? Yeah, it's not common. I've seen things happen. Other people have had really good progress, but I've never seen this kind of progress before. Here's the second case. This is actually my son, 7-year-old male, autism. Had a series of high fevers from 103, 104 degrees off and on for like 4 weeks. We were constantly in the hospital. He began speech, OT, PT at early intervention at 18 months and began, like I said, my special team that I put together for intensive 35 hours a week of ABA at the age of 2. My wife had to quit her job at the time, and we had to change our whole lives, when we found out that he was diagnosed with autism. So here we go. I'm going to just play this for you. His immune system was highly compromised, had asthma, constipation, poor weight, and irregular sleeping patterns. This is where we got him down to. A 156, now he's at a 2. So just to give you a better idea of what it looks like, of what he looked like at the time.
Are you now 30 months old, huh? 30 months old, 2.5. Officially 2.5 years old. Yes? You like the beach, huh, honey?
No language,
Yeah.
no sound. My parents actually thought he was deaf. But we knew he wasn't.
Adachi?
Mom's trying to engage him with physical contact, and there's nothing.
Say bye-bye. Yogi, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say
Very
bye-bye,
similar to the other
Kenneth.
boy.
Bye-bye.
And yes, he was little at the time, but
Adachi, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
this is 3 months into just scalar wave therapy. Nothing else.
Here it goes. Look. Me, up.
Oh, very nice 2 words.
Do it again. Me.
There's eye contact,
Me.
saying his first few words.
That is shocking. That was awesome.
Me.
Up.
Here's on Scalar Plus
Adachi.
and GCMAF.
How do you feel?
Happy.
Happy? What did you earn?
Number 4.
Number 4, what is it?
Pilot.
It's a pilot? What are you going to do with it now?
So he had language at this
Gosh?
point, 1 to 3 word sentences at the very
Hey,
most,
mister?
but he still didn't want to engage with us.
Adachi, I'm talking to you.
He preferred to play with Legos and
What do you think?
iPads and watch videos and stuff. Here's after 19 weeks on this therapy.
Hi, I'm Adachi.
Uh-huh, Adachi. How old are you?
7.
You're
years old.
7 years old. And what grade are you in?
First grade.
First grade. What are some of your favorite things? What do you like to do?
To make joke food.
You like to make
There's
joke
increase in
foods?
eye contact
That's
and language.
The yucky food.
The yucky food?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's such a jokester.
Like what kind of
His
yucky
personality's
food?
actually coming out now, you know?
Asparagus cake, avocado cake, mushroom cake,
Ew, that's so gross.
soup cake.
Oh no. And what else do you like to do? So what do you like to do? I see you have a ball. Yeah, what do you like to do with your ball?
Play basketball.
Oh, you like to play basketball? You must be pretty good.
Because I'm good at basketball.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You make all kinds of shots?
This is where he gave up his iPad, watching movies and everything,
Nice shot!
and he just wanted to hang out with people and play sports.
She did a good job.
Gosh!
Yeah, he didn't even know this girl. He just wanted to connect with people in the world now.
Daddy, look.
Okay, look. Nice taking.
Here's 1 week after the protocol.
Look at that. What a mess.
What a mess.
Sticky gooey down to spread.
Can you guys see the change in his affect?
The peanut butter smeared on black.
With peanut butter. What's he doing here?
He's trying to make a big, humongous mess.
I know.
No
What
longer is it
he
rote.
making?
He's got this varying in his vocal tone now, too.
Now this? Oh my God.
Back and forth conversations.
I think
What color is it?
What color is that?
Purple.
Kind of purple pink.
I like purple pink.
Let's pickle. Catch up fun.
I got a little ketchup at a restaurant.
You have a little at the restaurant?
He's
A
actually
little
initiating
ketchup
conversations
because I
now. He
ate
went from
it.
3-word sentences
It's so
to
good.
10-word sentences here.
You like it? He does like it, huh? What is
I like it.
What happened?
We like to create questions in the moment, questions and answers within the song. So we have a couple here that we'd like to show you. And this is based off of a Lego magazine, which we've been looking at. And so when I say, what do you see? It was what was in the magazine.
It's kind of like jazz. You just kind of improv things. For all you musicians, you know it's hard to kind of stay in sync with other people. He's able to do that, just like other kids, other adults who play instruments. Increase self-confidence as well as his self-esteem. That's 20 weeks GCMAF on the Rasha device that we have outside and CNS nano-organelles, peptides. So his therapist could not believe what was going on with him. They were like, wow, he's really going through his programs really fast. It's really kicking in. We didn't tell him anything. We just said, hey, yeah, it's whatever you guys are doing, it's working. So yeah, they've told us all kinds of stuff, like his pragmatic skills in conversation has increased significantly, purposeful eye contact, initiating conversations back and forth in such a short amount of time. These are just some of the things that, that his therapist and other people have said. So right now he's going to a regular school. He has a shadow, but the shadow just kind of hangs out in the back room now and just occasionally comes over, just gets paid to sit down in the back of the room now because he's been doing excellent. Thanks, Jerry. So as you guys saw, there's an increase in level of awareness, safety awareness, impulse control has been controlled, and that was just in 20 weeks, 10 weeks with Rasha, and with the CNS MOs. Increased facial expressions. Here's where he is now. I know some of you guys have seen this before, but, oh, is this the same one? Let's move on. Updated post, here we go. Now we can do all kinds of stuff, guys. He's got friends.
What are you doing? You're having fun?
Can you pick out the autistic child in this video?
Whoa!
You might be able to because a lot of the parents, but
You both splashed, I know.
it's very difficult to do that.
I know, both of you, huh?
He was able to pick up riding a bike in a week. And just do all the things that his brother and his sister could do. And in some ways, even better. Because of that hyper focus. Here he's playing soccer. This is his first time playing baseball. Very first time. Which we didn't think he could do at all before this. That's my kid. And I'm very proud of him.
What are you doing? You're having...
You know, ever since then, he's also been able to join martial arts as well. And he's been in 3 jiu-jitsu tournaments. And 2 out of them, he's gotten first place out of 3. So I hope nobody messes with my kid because it won't be good. Someone's going to get choked out or armbarred or something.
Does anyone have any questions?
What is the CNS?
You want to answer that?
It's a central nervous system peptide.
Oh, it is, and it's, and it's just, what is it? Is it a pill? Is it
It's an injectable.
something you do?
But come to the booth and we'll talk about this.
I'm sorry, I had to ask.
It's okay.
There's a question over there.
Any other questions? You're talking about the last group. Actually, I actually traveled to them because I was doing a research. They were one of my research studies. So I actually traveled to them. And for some of the others, they actually went to a clinic.
All of my clients went to the clinic, to our office. This is in Calabasas, California.
And
Yes.
yeah, with regards to the Lyme patient, actually, obviously we traveled there.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. That's you.
One.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, she's asking if we've ever used our technology on someone that has had scalar weaponry used on them. And the answer to your question is yes. There's one person that we're currently working with right now with macular degeneration, and it's still work in progress. But the answer to your question is we're getting progress. Yeah. Yes.
Does your technology work for retroviruses?
Did you hear that? Okay. It works on a lot of things. If you come to the booth, we can explain more. But let's just say there are over 2,100 pathologies that we can take a look at, if you will.
I like that. Take a look at.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions, concerns, comments? We invite you to our booth, which is literally right across from here, if you want to experience it or get more information. Thank you.